Hello Chibsters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Today we're having a look at, well, you can't see it at the moment, it's down there, but we're looking at the little walker alive for me. To say I love my Star Wars, I can never remember one moment. No, it's turned around the other way and no, well, forget it. The little walker anyway, the little one man, one lady walker. This is Star Wars, let's face it. So I've got the walker painted. I've lined it out. I'll show you in a minute where I wanted it to because it's a really nice little piece. But obviously you need to line it out a bit just to get it to pop out at you a bit more. I've done that. I've not put any weathering as such on it yet because I wanted to stick it to the base when I do that, so I get an idea of what I want to do with it. So I've got that. I've also finally managed to get some prints to work. I'll show you in a minute. So we've got some 3D Legion size Star Wars prints at the moment. I'm not particularly very good at the printing. I don't do enough, as usual. I don't do enough of it. I mean, my printer, you can just about see it over there, a little red bit covered up with everything else. I probably only print once every 4 months or so. It burns my head out too much. If I can't get it to work first time, you know what I'm like. I've got my mental health problems and my head just burns out trying to work it out. And then it just brings me down, and that ain't good for me. So it sounds ridiculous, but head problems are ridiculous, apart from if they're yours. Yeah, so I got Dr. Aphra, who's not in any of the films or the TV spin-offs. She's only on the comic books and stuff. I've only ever had two graphic novels so far. It's money. You can't. If I spend it on that, I can't spend it on other stuff. You know, it'd be pocket money. So my wife did buy me a couple for Christmas. I said I wouldn't mind having a look because I was interested in painting some more Star Wars, and I wanted to also have a go at a comic book style painting as well. So I've got a couple of those. I did look online last night on eBay, and you can get some of the older, cheaper ones, which are quite good. But I'll wait till I've got some more money for those. But yeah, let's get down to the bench. As I say, we're not nowhere near finished yet. I'm still working on the figure, which we'll have a look at. Still, none of the weapons are painted, but I'm waffling. In fact, just wait a minute because I've forgotten it, so I'm going to have to go and get it. Right, sorry about that, never prepared as usual. I just wanted to a shout out to my man Ian Aitken. Ian paints a lot of Star Wars figures. In fact, we follow each other in some of the stuff. You know, we both like the Harry Potter's miniatures to paint, and we both. I mean, I've been I'll say Star Wars buff or anything like. I'm a military history buff, but I've always loved Star Wars. I saw the original in '77. The prequels I wasn't that fussed with. I watched them, none of them, only the one at the cinema, and the other ones I've watched, everyone's slated Solo. I've actually had got Solo over Christmas, and I really enjoyed that, and I've watched it a couple of times. I liked Rogue One as well. I thought that was good. I'm not keen on the other ones, which I can't even remember the name of at the moment, just because I do agree with some of the people how Disney's is moving it in. You know, I don't know. It's trying to encompass everything. I don't know what the words I'm trying to search for, and also I've said this before. I'm very much a lover of the books, and when they just turned all Star Wars history into the rubbish bin really and said we own it now, it starts with us, I wasn't happy because, you know, the Yuuzhan Vong and all that stuff just don't seem to exist. I don't know, maybe, you know, or a lot of the stuff doesn't exist. Anyway, I'm digressing. But anyway, but I am. I really like my Star Wars. It's probably outside, yes, the Harry Potters. It's the only thing I was never. I did see Battlestar Galactica as a youngster at the cinema, and I was never really fussed with that. It's only ever been Star Wars for me. And as I say, I've got more of a fix out of the books over the years than I have. I've never got into the comics or anything. More because I never had the money to you know, I've always you have to cut your cloth, as they say. So anyway, Ian Aiken had said, "Oh, you might want to try," because I've never even seen The Mandalorian yet. I looked at buying them over Christmas. I've got to buy the DVDs at some stage. But The Mandalorian, obviously the Book of Boba Fett's out and all this stuff. I usually end up getting them in about 10 years out. They've been on screen for 10 years or whatever. But he showed the companion book for series 2 of The Mandalorian, and he was saying how good it was for getting ideas, what things look like, rather than just, popping them up on the internet. Well, I looked at it and it was like 20, 25 quid, I can't remember, and I thought, no, for reference, that's, I'll carry on looking on the internet for now, just, looking at pictures. But then I thought, well, they must have a series 1 book, and I think Ian might have even mentioned it, so I did get it. That was a tenner. I got this from Titan Comics, I think. No tie-ins with them, it's just where I bought it from, and that was a tenner with including the delivery. Not huge, but I'm happy for that. With the delivery, I can live with a tenner. I'm going to quickly show you just one page inside, or open it up once, to give you an idea of what's inside. If should you like to buy it, originally it was 15 quid by the look of it here. That's the IBNS number. Should you want to look at it, look it up, I should say. Again, the characters, I've had to read what they are because I really don't know. I just don't, as I say, I've not watched the programme, so I didn't know. I was picking bits of character. I mean, Ian would be painting his stuff and saying, oh, this is such and such, this is such and such, and I had no clue. Moff Gideon, no idea, until I got the book. Anyway, that's the type of thing you'll get to see. Let's say I'm showing that purely in the interest of marketing the book, should you wish to buy it. But you'll get film stills in there. There's a bit of behind the scenes, a bit of actor bump telling you what they thought of the characters and stuff like that. I'm not really into that type of stuff, but I am into the universe of Star Wars, if that makes sense. I'm often looking on, like, you get these online, they'll show you all the planets of the systems, and because I've read so many books, and that's such and such, that's Nar Shaddaa, that's Null Hutter, and all that stuff. Anyway, so that's that. I think I showed these anyway. I got those for this Christmas gone because I fancied. I like the scoundrels in Star Wars. You have your people seem to go into factions of, you either like the Imperials or the Rebels. Well, I like these grey type people. Some are just horrible, some are nice, and some are in between. But I like all the different scoundrels. And Boba Fett obviously has to be one of people's favourites. So I got these two. I wanted to try and paint the figure in roughly that style. I just didn't know how I was going to replicate the black shading so much, on they do it more in lines. But I do really like that style of artwork. So anyway, we digress. That's the books I just wanted to show you. So let's get down to the bench and have a look at this mini walker. Right, here's my mini walker, guys. I painted these in bits, so the two legs are separate, obviously. Yes, I did lighten the colour of the pistons here, gas struts, whatever you want to call them. Probably needs to be a bit darker, really. But the way I see it says on the box these were holdovers from the Clone Wars, and they were already quite ancient when the Rebels got them. I wanted to make mine look even more ancient and battle scarred, so it's had new bits on, so I might just keep them like that, as if it's had some new struts put on. The shield at the front, everything was kept separate. You could put it together and then paint it, but it'd just be harder to get into these other areas. So I painted it in segments and then just popped it on here. Not the strongest. I did think of gluing it to the base, but then thought, nah, not where I'm faffing about with it. My life, pollen levels at the moment, I'm bloody sneezing all over the shop. Right, I wanted to do mine in orange. As I say, I have got another one. Whether I paint that one in orange or just do a different colour for a change, I don't know. So my idea was, I've not gone on any... I mean, I looked at some of these, obviously, just to get some ideas, but I'm a big believer in things like this, that obviously if you're doing the Millennium Falcon and you want to get it right, you have to follow the Falcon at some point, you know, whether it's Lando owning it when it got the Mandervilles had the escape shuttle pod thing in, and, you know, the different styles of Han and Chewie owning it, or Han owning it, but you know what I mean. But things like this, I think there's a whole universe out there in Star Wars, and it really is how you want to paint something, you know. So I've done it my way, as Frank Sinatra would say. Definitely not a Star Wars person. This has still got to be painted here yet. I've seen this in like a yellow with black lines, but obviously it's so small there to get the black lines in. But I will do some just to again, we haven't got the grey all the time. So what I've done with the orange is, rather than say chip it either with hairspray or chipping fluid in that, I wanted to stipple orange on in three or four different oranges, or brighten up the oranges, so you can have like faded areas in it, if that makes sense. So I did a couple of different oranges that I've got in my armoury of bottles, and then I did a fluorescent orange on top, which is hardly noticeable because I didn't really put a lot on. It's more, I'm looking through the viewfinder at the moment. I don't know if it'll be different on camera when it's playing, but it's quite pale at the moment, but it's a heck of a lot more orange than that. This is quite pale. I'll stuck a couple of photos on at the end. It might show it as a darker orange. I decided I was going to have this with some... I'm not very good at OSL, as we can tell. I've decided to have that like an OSL type look. I'm going to try and do it a bit better yet. I'm not very good at things like that yet. I don't have a lot of practice. As I say, doing mostly historicals, when it comes to sci-fi, or fantasy, I tend to fall on my face a bit. And I wanted to put some light coming up underneath, we'll call this a battery pack for want of a better word. We can see there's a nice line down the back there. I've had to live with some of this. It's pre put together, and some of the bits you could smooth out. Again, I still made a mess of even on the feet I made a blooming mess, so I turned it into a blaster mark somewhere there. So I put, going on to that, I've put, some of them they've moulded a couple of chips in these already, like that was a chip that I've just made bigger with paint, and there was a little chip up here as well, and I've just made that more of it in paint. I wouldn't say black lined it. I've used NATO black. You can use NATO or rubber black. It's got a fair bit of brown in it, and it'll give you that, once you've watered it down a bit, it'll give you that faded look, but it gives you just a bit of a sharper edges to your shield. As I say, I've got no weapons painted yet. Got another blaster mark there that I've just painted in. I just wanted to show how the paint's chipped away in places and just rubbed away with age and hard use. I didn't know, as I said to you guys before, you know, would these things really rust? You know, is it our type of steel? I don't know, but I've put different just black marks in. Some are blaster scorch marks where blaster bolts hit, and others are just wear and tear, like on the piston there and a bit on the footrests. Some scratches done in some white paint, and some obviously tips of the bolts and stuff. As I say, these two on either side will be painted up yet. I just needed to see what I was going to do with them. I did, off the top of my head, it was mid-grey with some Luftwaffe blue mixed in for the first, this was on top of, I did spray it with my airbrush. I put a lacquer primer over it, which would be the same as somebody using a rattle can, and obviously in pieces. I then used normal AK third generation. I just mix that with water and put it through my airbrush, and then spray black into the areas and your usual, white on top. Sorry, I'm trying to stop sneezing all the time at the moment. Yeah. Oh, and we've done some. I had seen online that it's like a green, and or the ones I'd seen artwork of, and obviously it tells you targets and things. I couldn't remember if the two bottom ones were green. I painted them green out of laziness because I had the paint, but I might change those over at the last minute. So yeah, going back again. Sorry, head problems. You tend to go all over the shop. Yeah, so we've got mid-grey. We'll call it mid-grey. I can't honestly remember, but you wouldn't go far wrong if you wanted to do this type of thing. Mid-grey, some Luftwaffe blue, which is like a bluey grey. You could get away again with French military blue, all that type of blue-grey. Put some of that in, and then sea grey, which has got like a bit of bluey green in it, which is very light and quite bright. I use it for highlighting a lot, and I've highlighted that. I've edge highlighted it, not everywhere, just where I wanted to. Again, that's up to the person's own viewpoint. I used sometimes I'd use cold white, or sometimes I'd use off-white if I wanted a bit of a softer look to it. I think I edged all these out in like a bright white, just to show like a sharp metal. Up there, that was another ding that they've put in, at the sculptors put in, and I just accentuated it with some black again. I put black into. I've not used. I was going to oil wash in places this, and I thought no, I'm happy with just putting some watered down again NATO black in different places that I thought needed it. Put some aluminium on the piston inside the sleeves for the pistons. That's about it so far. There will be, as I say, some grime and mud putting on in bits and pieces. I don't want to go over the top, but it does need a bit. But I need to put it on a base yet to decide with myself what I'm actually going to do with it. Figure wise, I wanted this guy like well, like not yellow, but like as it's showing here with some of the highlights, that green with yellow in it. It's just my own whim, how I wanted to do it. I've got to do his, if you want to call it, t-shirt, jumper, I don't know what he's got underneath there. I just needed to see this worked out before I did the middle. Normally I'd do the middle first and paint out, because I'm going to have a bit of trouble putting it in, but never mind. Same with the hat. I fancied doing the hat very slightly different colour to this here. Got his boots done, and that's about it really. I mean, obviously I've done his little arms. I haven't painted the grips any colours yet. As I say, we'll just pull one of these out just to show. Again, they're being primed. But still a work in progress. Well, I've still got to begin work on those. These are going to be, I don't know if I should sink a hole in these or just stick them on top, because they're going to be out of sight, I believe. But I've sent off some mini magnets. Forget the ones at the bottom, I already had those. But these mini magnets, these will fit nice. They were a couple of quid, including the delivery, and you got that amount. Right, and a quick show and tell of me 3D printing. Now, this didn't go right, as we can see by her little flat hands there. This is Dr. Afra, or Amphra, I can never remember. She is one of these, you could say, bad guy. She's an archaeologist that worked for, in the comics, worked for Darth Vader. and she can do some good things for her mates, but really she's probably a bad guy. You know, she's one of these, I suppose you could almost call her grey, but I would say she's more black. She's more a bad guy. But my plan was to paint her. Now she came unsupported from Skullforge. Now I put automatic supports in, and I mustn't have pressed something and never realised. And well, I should have realised because it didn't show any supports on the plate, build on the computer on the build plate, and I put 3 of these on and a fifth, just a larger one. I wanted to try a larger one like Ian does. And she was the only one that got that far. Everything else just dissolved into a molten pile of goop. But she was completely unsupported, so she got that far. But yeah, I've tried. I've got to go back again. I'm hoping to do with the last bit of resin I've got. I'm going to go again and try and have a go at in doing a couple of Legion scale size ones of her and a larger one, if I could just get it to work. So that's that. And then I splurged out because, as I say, I like my Boba Fett, and I got these 2. Ian's shown these on his channel already, but I think his were the larger ones, I believe. And it's quite weighty with that not being hollow. There might be the odd bit. The problem with these guys is, oh no, I'll save that one. I blooming cut the rocket. These are rockets that stick out of his rocket jetpack, whatever you want to call them, and I cut that one off in my enthusiasm to cut the bits off on one of them. So you get 2 poses for this one. I think when you take the dollar, I think they're about $7 something, which worked out, I don't know, about £6.60 or something like that. This is, as I say, Legion scale, so it would fit that walker, if that makes sense. And you get like you can call it a Tatooine desert base, but obviously it can be whatever base you want it to be. But he's been cleaned up a load of times, but there's still bits of goop that I've got to try and clean out of him again before I prime him tomorrow. But as I say, I wanted to have a go at my normal type of painting, but also some different types of painting. So I've got 4 of them, so I might do 6. And just try different types, different styles. He stands on his desert base, and his cape's a bit different. And the other one, he's standing on, I can't remember if it's a busted up piece of droid or just a bit of machinery. But it's slightly different, and that's where I bust off, and I try and stick. I did try and stick a bit on a bit of resin of the stuff that I'd cut off, try and make it look like another jetpack. But as I say, I'll be doing a couple more as well. And I managed to crack his blooming butt of his pistol as well, his blaster. You've got to be so careful, unless you know the sculpt off by heart. You've got to be so careful with these. I mean, I cut these. There's supposed to be some conduits, which I didn't realise. If I'd have just looked on the Skullforge blow up, Gav might have had an idea, but never mind. Lesson learned. So I've actually left them there. But here I was getting again over enthusiastic. Snip, 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 and snip the conduits away. So this one's a bit better. You can see he's got his jetpacks there. It's slight, that isn't down to me. It's just slightly flat on the sculpting process, I suppose. But I do think, get a bit of paint on them, they might look quite nice. And I would like to make this one bigger. I think, as I say, Ian, has made a bigger one. I'm saying 54 mils. It's a standard, next scale up type of thing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to those. Never painted Boba Fett before, and as I say, he's one of my favourite scoundrels. So, and as I say, I tend to talk, I half say things and then move on, and I forget. So, guys, I'm really sorry. When I ramble, I do ramble because it's me head, and I'll be telling you something, and then I keep meaning to apologise because I'll tell you something, and something else comes into my head, and then I end up talking about that and forgetting. My wife gets so confused sometimes when I'm talking to her. Yeah, so I like the Scoundrels, if I didn't say before. You know, some people like the Imperials, some of the Rebels. I like the ones in the middle. I like the bounty hunters and the smugglers, all that type of stuff. I think they've got a lot of character about them. So there we go. And I believe as well, I'm not sure if it was supposed to be, I think they're not support struts there. They're he's got like he's you know he's is it to extra to extra rocket packs or flamethrowers or something, I can't remember. And I'm not too 100% sure whether, let's just have a look on the other one, whether I cut them off in my haste again. Probably have done. Yeah, I've got nothing on that one. I've probably snipped it off thinking it was a support. Hey ho, I'll learn. Right guys, I know I'm waffling, but as I say, I enjoy my Star Wars. It's a nice diversion figure wise from you know, from doing historicals. Having said that, I've got some more historicals from my own collection to come as well, which is a full regiment, which I'll show you when they do get here. So guys, thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look. I'm trying not to sneeze again. Hope everything's going well with you. As I say, it's just something, as I say, the Star Wars I always enjoy. You know, it's military in its own way. Well, it is military, you know, but you know, it's just out of this world. So next time, hopefully you see Boba Fett. I'll have at least one painted up. I might paint two up and then just show a video of two different styles of painting. But when you see this next, it'll all be, I think it'll be the final reveal. So guys, I'm trying to stifle sneezing yet again. Look after yourselves. Thanks for stopping by and taking a look. And we'll catch each other on another video.